Yes, I wanted to correct the record. When I looked in my work emails, I did not have any emails voting no, but I do have one in my personal account, so I wanted to just be fair and accurate in that. Marvin had asked me to vote no. He lives in the city of Joliet, and to Murray's point, Crystal Lawns is in my district. That's it.
Thanks for that information. Mr. Tumanello?
Thank you. There's a lot of respect for our city's attorney, Mr. Mary. The information that she brought forward is always steered us in the right direction. But it's interesting to me when I sit back and really just listen to the entire issue, is that we kind of are having a little bit of disregard for your office. Individual Dr. Kathleen Murphy made a presentation. She talked to us about the effects. We also had the health department come before us. And the health department came before us. Sue Olnick was talking about her objection as well, and what they felt about legalizing or staying in the program and what it was going to do and what kind of effects it was going to have. But I think the most interesting thing that I saw was a letter from one of the state representatives that voted on this bill. There was a legislator that sent out a letter to some of the mayors in their high crime areas. It was confirmed by Nikki at his state office. And in the letter, it talks about, as you know, House Bill 1438, legalizing cannabis, blah, 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 and it talks about age and the amount that they possess, and medical won't be affected. But I think it was very interesting, the last paragraph in the letter that states, furthermore, these considerations in mind, I am urging you to utilize the opt-out provision of this bill for your local municipality. This will require your municipality to pass an ordinance or resolution opting out of the cannabis legislation. I have concerns about how the bill may bring a rise in crime to your community, as well as how the perception of your city might be affected by an increase of recreational use of cannabis. There are important factors that were not considered when the bill was going through the legislative process. Thank you for your time and consideration. It is my hope that you will consider opting out of House Bill 1438. And I just think, sometimes when you get vote in Springfield, maybe you sit back and think about some of the effects after you understand it, and then maybe have a change of heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Mr. Frizzle.
Yeah, I'm going to parrot a little bit of what Ray said, but I think if we are bringing this back next month and we're going to have a public hearing, it would be nice to hear from the Sheriff's Department, from the Health Department, and from Kathleen Burke one more time so we can get their opinion again, all in that group. I would hope after that we would opt out, and then we can go to a referendum. We probably go to a referendum to see what the whole of Will County wants to do. I still think, and I had said this much earlier, since gas tax, it's time we start asking the constituents what their feeling is. We get 4 letters pro and 2 letters con. That's not a reason to be pro. We need to get what all our constituents want. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that by the votes in the villages, but what better way than to go direct to the constituent and ask them to go on. Thank you.
Okay, back to Chairman for Denise.
Thank you, Mr. Executive.
Jackie, Ms. Trainier.
Thank you, Mr. Executive. I think the idea of going to a referendum is fine as long as we're willing to fund it. I think education has to go with it. If the other side of the aisle would like to do a referendum, I'd like to see them put a very large amount of money into the budget to pay for public education in terms of the issue, because I don't, and I'm not even sure we could agree on what that public education should be. But clearly just putting something on the ballot, people have far more important things to deal with every day in their lives, putting bread on the table, getting to their jobs, dealing with their cars, dealing with their schools, their kids. They have a lot of things going on in their lives, not to mention their own health care. We would have to do a full court press to educate people, and that would take a considerable amount of money if that's the direction we want to go. I think the vote voters know that the state legalized cannabis, and the voters, if they didn't like it, can vote no against in the next election against their legislator. I just don't see it. I know cigarettes are bad. I probably touched my first cigarette when I was in the 2nd grade. I was sitting on the roof with my older sisters who had acquired their cigarettes from my mother. You know, it happens. It's a bad thing. They definitely are addictive. But any person has the choice to overcome an addiction if they so choose. And there are places to go to get help, and sometimes you just don't need help, you just need a little willpower. After 3 days, nicotine is out of your system. At that point, it becomes a mental health issue. It's not anything to do with your physical condition. So to say that people are addicted to marijuana, I think perhaps they have a mental health issue, not so much maybe a physical addiction to marijuana. And I don't think that disagreeing with Kathleen Burke shows any disrespect to her. She has her education and her background and her viewpoint and her ladder of inference just like I do. I respect her to the utmost. We just don't agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Welch?
Yeah, I agree with Mike Malone. I think that we should ask the people, and when we don't go out to the people and ask them, they say 26 people on a board voted something that's going to affect everybody in the county in a big way. And we're not saying they can't smoke pot anymore, because the state legalized it. So all we're talking about is opting in or opting out of dispensaries, which most of these cities are opting out. And there's a reason for that, because they're finding it's not in their best interest for whatever reason. So I think our county should at least, at minimum, go to a referendum and ask the people. And whatever the people want is what we should do. It's a representative democracy, so that means that we're supposed to vote what the people want. But in a case like this, how are we going to separate the wheat from the chaff? There's too many ideas floating around. So the best way to do it is to ask the people. And hey, Larry, good to see you up there.
Okay,